Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Five Guys on Live. We are here tonight, ready to rock and roll with a really good show. Lots of interesting things happening, and we're really excited to be joined by tonight's special guest, the one and the only recording artist, AJ Mize. AJ, welcome to the Five Guys on Live.
Thank you for having me again. Great to be here.
I'm really excited to have a chance on this episode to actually talk to you about your work, to talk to you about the artistry that you produced, the new single that you released from the EP that anyone can listen to on any number of streaming platforms. I'm really, really excited to talk about it. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing this week?
All is well, all is well.
I'm good. And I want to thank again Deborah Denard for taking a moment and subscribing to the 3+1 Media's YouTube channel. Thank you, Deborah. And for those of you who are YouTube watchers, we appreciate you. For those of you who are Facebook watchers, we need you to subscribe to the YouTube. So often we're finding that Facebook is not really sharing out this platform in the way that they used to share it out. And so many of the people that may once watched don't watch. But so when we're on YouTube, we're able to get more viewers like our good friend here, Flo LJ. Oh,
Larry.
So you know who that is, Zach?
That's Larry.
Larry, happy birthday, Larry. Didn't Larry have a birthday?
He did.
All the Libras in the house, all the Libras in the house. Y'all be some lovers and some liars. Libras can tell some lies sometimes. Little white lies are known for. I'm Zach the Zodiac, but let me tell you the greatest gift of Libra. Libra is ruled by the sign of Venus, and Venus gives the gift of beauty to every Libra out there. One thing you will never find is a Libra who ain't got a pretty face. There is no such thing as an ugly Libra. I didn't say you weren't sweet. That's true. But y'all can tell some lies too. Now, I done had my fair share of Libras, Deborah. Don't, I call it like I see it, baby. I done had a handful. But when we speak about handfuls, that goes to the title of tonight's episode. That's why I love tomorrow's. A quote from the Glorilla and Cardi B song, but also, again, there's always another day to get it right. Facebook user, tell us who you are, said Libras are indecisive. Now, they are some choosy lovers, I will say that. They are some choosy lovers, but when you look that good, you can you have choices on the table. When you look that good, you have choices on the table. We have a lot of interesting topics on the table, starting off with a week of good debates. Now, just tonight, I know we're probably not ready to talk about it too in great detail. We just finished the Stacey Abrams-Brian Kemp debate. It was one for the record books. Now, I know some of you may not have seen that. No worries. I have posted. I was literally working, watching the debate, and I was on my TV, and then I was live casting or screen recording it on my iPad so I could get the good clips. I knew Stacey was going to hit a home run, and Stacey did it. I created a hashtag called Stacey Slap. You can go to Twitter, you type in hashtag Stacey Slap, Stacey Slap. She is committed to keeping Georgia FNF, right? She is committed to getting Georgia FNF, and I know it's going to happen. But before we talk about Stacey and the Glorilla and the FNF, I want to talk about what we all saw on Friday night, the debate between radical liberal Raphael Warnock and I don't even have the right words for him, Herschel Walker. Gentlemen, the floor is open to get your honest debates, your honest thoughts about, you guys say, what's FNF? What's FNF? Facebook user knows. What I need you to do is go to Google, and I want you to type in FNF Glorilla, and you will see indeed what the term means. But gentlemen, what did you guys think? For those of you who watched the debate or saw clips of the debate, the floor is open. What did you think?
I guess many people didn't watch the debate. I saw clips and bits of pieces. I actually didn't know the debate was happening or what have you. But the clips that I did see and just reading some of the comments, apparently Herschel Walker didn't do as bad as people thought that he would. Of course, I'm Team Warnock personally, so I did appreciate Warnock's position on just everything that they were debating on, or what have you. I know he definitely threw a curveball at Walker when it came to Medicare for Georgians. And you could tell that Walker was sort of prepped well on other, I guess we could say, highlighted issues, the mainstream issues. But when it came down to a lot of issues that affect the core of Georgians, he really didn't know, where he stood, and was just really, of course, just all over the place, very aloof in his commentary, no positions. But I mean, I guess moving forward in that debate, for me, it's just a question of, did it really move the needle on the undecided voters? Did Walker gain voters? Or did it just make any difference at all with the Georgia Senate primary coming up?
I'm gonna, I watched the debate with bated breath. And Deborah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very honest person. You can literally go after the debate was over. I was in a Twitter space. I had family coming in. So my Friday was, I flew in from a work-related trip in Boston. I got off the plane. I had family in town for the Falcons game. My mom's only nephew and his family was here. So that's my first cousin. He's like my brother. We were together. So I, made sure that his family had a great time. But in that means, I found time to watch this debate. And I felt exactly like you felt, Deborah, is that Warnock didn't go in as hard as he should have. He should have slaughtered Herschel. I'll say this. Herschel Walker didn't say anything of substance. He didn't say anything of great value. He just simply repeated over and over and over key Republican talking points that they trained him to say. And that's fine. I had no problem with it because he did a good job in it. He had a look that was meant to relate to Georgians who, I think he wanted to appeal to. He didn't have on a nice, clean, sharp suit. The suit was big. It was baggy. It was actually a little bit tacky. But I know that was by design because he's trying to appeal to a certain voter. I can't knock the Republicans for that really good strategy. Senator Warnock was measured. He said some things of substance, but what he did not do is overtalk Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker overtalked him a lot. Herschel Walker interrupted him repeatedly. Herschel Walker violated the rules of the debate by pulling out a prop. Senator Warnock carried himself like a senator. He didn't do any of that. So some people were like he should have, but he wasn't going to take the Trump road. He took the Michelle Obama approach. Herschel Walker took the Trump road. We also saw this past weekend Marjorie Taylor Greene do the exact same thing to Marcus Flowers, overtalk him, interrupt him, be rude to him. Tonight, in the gubernatorial debate, Brian Kemp did not overtalk Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams, however, now there was a libertarian on stage who interrupted both of them. Stacey Abrams said something while Brian was talking, and he said, "You interrupted me." And she immediately stopped and she apologized. That actually didn't sit well with me because why is it that the Black woman that he tried to portray during this whole debate as being like angry, even though she displayed none of that, he was just trying to make people think that she was, even though it didn't work, it backfired. Why did the Black woman have to apologize for debating the way that everyone in Georgia has debated? But nobody demanded Herschel Walker apologize, and nobody demanded that Marjorie Taylor Greene apologize. And Marjorie Taylor Greene acted a complete fool on that debate stage. So that kind of didn't sit with, Stacey immediately apologized. She immediately, I'm sorry.
But did somebody demand her do that?
For even having to do that when others didn't have to do the same thing.
And so, but no one demanded her to apologize. She did that on her own.
Brian, no one demanded it, but Brian Kemp said you said you're interrupting me, Stacey. And the way that he said it, it was a clear rebuff to her, and it was clearly calling for an apology. It wasn't saying you better apologize, but yeah, when someone excuse me, you're interrupting me, or reclaiming my time, you apologize if you're a person of civil means. So yeah, it was
right, and I think that's the piece that it showed her taking the high road and her being a person of civil means. But had it been like a person like me, it would have been like, I did interrupt you. What else you want to say? But no one demanded her to apologize. And I definitely see where you're going with the whole kind of construct of when a Black woman do something, they have to come off looking a certain way, opposed to a Marjorie Taylor Greene or a Herschel Walker when they do the same thing. And so I agree. I mean, that is an issue and a double standard that is out there for society. But if I was her, I wouldn't apologize. But that's her.
and I would just add, I would just add that it's that self-awareness. I think there's politically, we know that there are those norms that are expected from politicians. And so I think that systemically, that's always in place as well. It doesn't make it right. But I kind of like when some politicians go against that status quo and they challenge it. So I think that's really important. But to the overarching, I didn't watch the debate, but I did recognize the highlights. And something else that stood out was the saying is confidence is calm, whereas arrogance is loud. And so I think that kind of showed in surface as well in the discussion, because clearly, as it was said, you had Raphael, being respectful, being calm, and not necessarily addressing some of the fronts aggressively, whereas Herschel Walker might not have done the same. So I just think that's important to consider as well.
And now, AJ, are you now like a Georgia resident?
I'm not. I'm always representing Ohio.
Okay.
Ohio is.
You are not registered here in Georgia.
No, I'm registered still in Ohio. That's my my home, my permanent home. So as an educator, luckily I'm able to go back and forth.
Now, AJ, you need to be representing Georgia. You've been there for.
But they need me in Ohio too, so I'm well represented there.
So they do. So I'm assuming that you're not voting for JD Vance, and he's not going to win.
That's funny.
Because
what's happening in Ohio is a big race in Ohio too. So tell us about that, because if you ain't gonna make a difference with that little vote up there, then I'll be pissed. Because we need that vote.
I'm registered and I'm voting. I always vote in Ohio. That's
but is it gonna make a difference, AJ? Is the race gonna be really tight to where your vote will matter? Because in Georgia, Stacey Abrams lost by less than 52,000 votes in 2018. But get this, there were 100,000 votes eliminated from predominantly Black districts after the election was actually happened. So you had the election happen on a Tuesday. In the month of contesting, 100,000 votes got thrown out. So what I'm saying, and Joseph Robinette Biden carried the state of Georgia by less than 12,000 votes. So in Georgia, every single vote counts. Here, your vote matters.
But we're making an assumption that he's a Democrat. We're making an assumption that we don't know.
And the only thing I would say to that is every vote counts, every vote matters. So regardless of where you vote, I think you should vote. But also I'll say that just as my number matters here in Georgia, it matters in Ohio. And that's the stance I'm currently taking, because I am an Ohio resident and I got to think about my home, my backyard, before I can worry about others.
And if I may add, that Ohio senatorial debate was a good one, because Tim Ryan really had some great nuggets when he told JD Vance, Ohio, they don't need a kiss. What did he say? A kiss asser. They need a kick asser. He had JD Vance on his heels. So shout out to Tim Ryan.
Absolutely. And so that's why I'm hoping that the Ohioans out there will come through, and they are going to be able to make a difference and truly be able to pull this out for all of us here. And with that being said, it's a great time to go into, our interview with the one and the only entertainer, educator, personal trainer, AJ Mize. AJ, your brand new release from your EP, Closure, is out and playing and getting played. What motivated this whole entire project, and what makes this current release something that we should all stream today?
Wow, I'm still adjusting to even being in the category of a recording artist. So thank you for that. I'll start off saying that it's been a long journey, and this is now my third attempt in pursuing music. A lot of story, a lot of unpleasant experiences leading up to now. But now here I am, and I'm able to have the conversations, and I'm moving forward. But as you said, my music, AJ Mize, is available on all streaming platforms. 3 from the EP, so 3 singles, and then the new single, Closure, is from the upcoming album, Coexist, which will be out hopefully in November. So please look forward to that. And yes, there's a DEI component to those who know about the other hats that I wear. So that's something to look forward to with the music. But the current single and music video that's out right now It's really just about tapping into all the different elements of music that I've been a part of and that has shaped me as an artist. But more so, also providing a voice for those I think are unspoken, especially in male R&B. You know, we kind of get stereotyped and or there's an expectation that all male R&B artists should be the same. One, I don't want to categorize and say I'm not R&B or just pop. I think even in music, I'm all inclusive. So that's really what the Coexist album is about, and hopefully people receive it as such. But make sure you check it out, all streaming platforms, and thank you in advance for the support. We have to support our own, and that's something I've really been pushing for everyone.
So you talked a little bit about the DEI component. I know you from DEI,
Yes.
and I'm so proud of you to say that on this platform. So I am congratulating you and giving you your flowers right now. I'm glad to see you're doing great work. How are you incorporating DEI into this other aspect of what you're doing? Tell us a little more about that.
The first thing is just trying different sounds. So as I was just alluding to, R&B artists immediately, and I say this respectfully to anyone that's starting in the game, I understand there's a business, there's a formula to it, but immediately out the gate, there's an expectation that you're supposed to sound, you're supposed to look, you're supposed to sing this type of music, whether it's secular, provocative, or whether it's clean and poppy. But I feel like I've tried to create my own sound and my own lyrics. All the music will be clean, but it's still age appropriate. But then also it's gender inclusive. So a lot of my music does not speak to a he, a she, a we. It's all the above. So that's something I've tried to be intentional about as well. And also, I think it's important, and this was the example that I mentioned, just as easy as it is for anyone to turn on a Keisha Cole love song without thinking about it being a female artist, or whether you identify as a male or female. I want people to be able to turn on my music regardless of how they identify and be able to appreciate it as well. So those are the initial points that I've tried to focus on. And I think as I continue to grow and as I continue to promote the music, other narratives or parts of DI will surface as well.
So my favorite song for those listening, right? Because sometimes people want to know, well, what do I start? What I listen to? I don't know what he gonna, artist gonna be like, oh, I like it all, and that's fine. You can say that if you want to, but I have a favorite, and it's is it You Is True? It's like a little bit more upbeat. It's something I could definitely, listen to in the car on the ride, and that's because I was in the car on the ride when I listened to it. I was like, I really like this, so that is the one I recommend. Wait, what's the real name?
So it's You. That is true. That's correct. So
You
from the EP,
Is True.
Yes. So, and also, actually, Zach, that was a really good question. So even from the EP, first starting with King Made, that's about telling the stories of men of color, but also just about believing in yourself and encouraging others to believe in themselves along the way. You and True is a love story. Again, all gender inclusive, and it's meant to be crossover, so it does have a pop R&B vibe to it. And then Change Your Life is strictly R&B, poppy. But Closure is definitely R&B, and the rest of the album will be a combination of sounds. So you just gotta wait and see. But I think a lot of people are gonna be really surprised to see the different hats. And again, some people will support and some people won't. But all I'm asking in today's time, before we had a Saucy Santana or before we had a Lil Nas X, there weren't spaces for us. And so I feel like I've created my own space, and hopefully other people can receive that and respect that as well.
Any final questions from the guys, before we go into talking about, when you talk about crossover R&B and pop, we're going to talk about crossover rap to pop and how somebody really didn't like it.
Ooh.
And if you want to know who that somebody is, it's Nicki. So, Vince, this has been trending for a while. All this rap drama and beef from the ladies. And I know I have a conspiracy theory that nobody wants to hear, but I'm going to share it in a minute. Because I often look, because again, you guys know that my job is very much, I'm in the sales world, but sales is a division of marketing. Sales is about PR and marketing. And I think to myself, is this even real? Like, is this real, or is this all an effort to get albums sold, to get streams, to have people create really true communities around their artists? But we'll talk about that after you kind of break down and help us understand what in the world is going on with all of these female hip hop artists and the concept that maybe this is not really benefiting the hip hop community.
So again, I'm not being new to the industry, but I also think having the years of experience that I've had observing, appreciating music, and then also investing in my craft and skill. I think it goes both ways. So yes, we know there is that political, that trending hot topic component of it, of what's popping, what's happening, what drama's going on that promotes the sales and the whole package of being an artist. But I also think it's also the industry in today's time being more exposed. I think a lot of artists within the past 5 years or so have talked about how it shifted from the talent to more about the business. So now you have writers, you have people who are part of the process who are sharing teams or managing these artists, but there's no authentic relationships. There's no real conversations had on how this artist is developing or how they're contributing to the industry, what have you. It's a lot more of the money and the business structure. I think the beef, some of it is created, but some of it's also the lack of communication, the lack of support. Instead of beefing, they should be supporting one another. There's room for everyone. And until they start seeing it like that and acting as such, we're only limiting ourselves and we're holding ourselves back from being able to grow as a industry, but also as a people. Because people ask me all the time, are you Nicki? Are you Cardi? Are you City Girls? Why can't I be all of them? All of them have great hits. All of them have great songs. All of them, are in their own lane or created a lane. Little Kim is Little Kim, Cardi B is Cardi B, Nicki Minaj is Nicki Minaj. Why is there a comparison? Why can't they be standalone?
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree with that. I just remember, late 90s when you had Missy Elliott, Eve, Foxy Brown, just those 90s rappers, that group of Lauryn Hill, of phenomenal female MCs. You didn't see any of that happening. You didn't see any spats, any back and forth, any drama. I mean, granted, social media wasn't there, but I feel like there was there was still a respect there. And then because I also feel that it was such a limited number of female MCs happening at that time. It's like, well, we all we got, so we really can't attack each other. Versus now, there are a lot more female MCs, let alone, well, in addition to that, that's making mainstream headway, topping the charts, and rightfully so. These women are beautiful. These women are talented. I just think that it's becoming the Real Housewives of hip hop. And I just really think at this point, one of them need to call over to Zeus, and they need to rent out an LA studio and get Claudia Jordan to host a reunion so they can hash it out and have Tasha Cobbs and Leandria Johnson sing at the end, give a good kumbaya moment, and go back to their little respective places. Because at this point, it's just becoming too much. It's really becoming too much. Like, I really can't even keep up who Nicki beefing with. It's like every other day it's somebody, Lotto, then JT versus Cardi, then Megan got beef with Nicki, and then this person and that person, and And it's like, y'all, like, why? Like, why? Is it really that big of a deal? Why?
Is it real? Right? And I know that people don't think the way I think about these artists, but I really believe, my whole perspective changed after Kanye West slapped Taylor Swift or did whatever he did to that girl up on that stage.
He interrupted her award. He interrupted the speech. He didn't slap me.
Whatever he did that ruined her life so drastically. And all of a sudden, she started winning all the awards. And all of a sudden, she became a mainstream crossover hit. She went from country, yo, over to pop because of that slap. And all of a sudden, everyone,
Stop saying slap, Zach. It was an interruption.
But honestly,
Will Smith slap.
The verbal slap. And after that,
it wasn't even a verbal slap.
When he snatched,
so can I say something about that?
You said that Beyonce had the greatest record of all time.
Right, video of all time.
Black people who buy pop music and people who are in the pop world didn't know Taylor Swift at that level until Kanye West did that. That makes me feel as though all these things happening now are ways of them bringing up new artists that we wouldn't know in the conversation. And I think that it's all meant to sell records. It is a way for someone of Nicki's ripe age. Nicki older than me. I think she's 42, 38, whatever it is. I know she got me by a couple years. And I think that's a way for her to stay relevant in the rap game and keep her name in the streets.
I don't know.
I think sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think controversy does keep relevancy, but I don't think it necessarily drives people's ability to stream and or to tune into your music. If you are who you are and people vibe with what you vibe, I think they're going to do that organically. But to your point, I think it does create the narrative of headlines, or for people to be like a constant reminder, like, let me compare City Girls to a Nicki Minaj, to a Cardi B, but I don't think it necessarily drives streams or those or support. I personally think that, but I think what is an issue, or what I've noticed even from the Kanye piece to now, why is it always our people? That's my question. I think, we don't see a Carrie Underwood out calling out Taylor Swift. We don't see, Adam Lambert coming for Sam Smith. So I'm just providing a context to say, I think when it comes to us, because there's such a misunderstanding between Billboard charts, academies, and how they're ranking and or awarding us, that there's a disconnect for our genre, for our culture. And so then that creates and stirs up drama for us, because we're trying to advocate, or we want our flowers or our just due, but we're not getting that. If that makes sense. Because clearly that's the reason why Kanye went up there. Kanye would have said anything if the award would have went to who he thought it should have went to, So that's just my opinion, and supported by some facts of what we've seen.
Yeah, I agree, AJ, because no one still has stopped to stream Lotto's album. And so that was my biggest issue, is like, people will jump in and make assumptions about, because people don't like Nicki Minaj, nothing that she says has any validity to it. She made a very valid statement, and everyone immediately jumped down her throat, and then they jumped on the Lotto bandwagon, but nobody took 2 seconds to go and listen to Lotto's album. And so it doesn't,
The album ain't doing well.
It didn't do well. It flopped. I like the album. I really like that song, Sunshine on Me. I thought that was a great song. But
Darius, let me say one little brief thing, and I'm going to turn it right back. I just want to say that, number one, Lotto deserved that, because she sat up here and made her name Mulatto in the first place. I'm not going to let that go. And number two, she sits up on TikTok and she tells people to eat raw cookies that come from crumble, because crumble cookies taste like raw cookie dough. And so, Lotto, I'm sorry, girl, you got a lot of karma to make up. I'm not.
Yeah, so I mean, at its core, Nicki's statement was not against Lotto. It was against the Academy and the way that they decided to categorize the song, which I thought was a valid point for her to make. Now, did she have to? Well, when Lotto reached out to her and texted her saying, "Hey, we're not in the best place, so don't use me as an example," I don't think Nicki should have tweeted that, but I also don't think that Lotto should be saying in private, I agree with what you're saying, but then publicly ignoring it or acting like it's not a real issue. So I could see it from both sides. I just hate that it had to escalate the way that it did, and that everyone takes the time to be like, oh, I'm this team, I'm that team, but you're still not streaming the girl's music. If you really support her, then support her and listen to her music, not just when she's in a Twitter war with Nicki Minaj.
I agree with that. But really quickly, and I really want you to chime in on this, Darius. I do feel, because of the consistency of Nicki's behavior, thus far, in her constant, position of being in the headlines of some type of controversy, I just think at this point, it seems like, not saying I agree with it, but it seems like she's painting herself as a villain, and welcoming that type of thing. So I think at this, venture, any position where it's valid or not, because there's been so much that she has been a part of, rightfully or unintentionally, at this point, I just think a lot of people are like, yo, like, Nicki, can you just, I think we talked about this before, just be the phenomenal artist and queen that you are, and just walking that, because at the end of the day, you don't see Beyonce knocking down her counterparts. You don't see Rihanna knocking down her counterparts. And if Nicki, if you are in that same, parameter as these two other queens, why are you always having to respond and reply and engage and initiate? I think that's where a lot of people are coming from, to add to the Lotto train. Because at this point, I think people just like, Nicki, be quiet, please.
I think it's a little different, though, because I feel like even though there are still things that Beyonce deserves that she's not gotten, I feel that Beyonce and Rihanna have been lauded in a way that Nicki probably deserves to be, but has not been. And I think that just adds a level of frustration. And she isn't someone who's, raised up in a church down in Houston, Texas, to sit back with her legs crossed. That's not who she is. She let you know when she came out, she told you exactly who she was, and people loved her for that authenticity. And so it's a little troubling sometimes when we expect people to be something different than who they are. You're always going to be disappointed. So not to say that she should go on the internet and cause a ruckus, but she's told you who she is.
But do you think we'll get to a place? My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think this is across the board, and I say this respectfully for any artist, but I think it's still about, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think that there's been time that Nicki has said things not the right way. Now, what is the right way? That is the question. But at the same time, sometimes, as the saying goes, you have to give respect in order to get it. And I don't think that at times Nicki has said things in a respectful way. Like, she could have brought up Lotto and said, hey, just to do a comparison or to say, I love Lotto, I love all the girls who are winning, but y'all giving flowers, y'all giving awards that I haven't gotten yet, or that I haven't got my just due, or I'm in this category where I should be in this category. So as again, there's that disconnect from the academy. There's that lack of diversity that's missing altogether. And I think that, again, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I think she went off straight to, well, if mine's going to be moved, so should Lotto's. I don't think that was the right language. It should have been like, well, if mine's going to be moved based on this criteria, why not Big Energy, even though I like Big Energy, what have you?
Yeah,
it don't matter how she said it.
I just also want to say, the only point I want to make here is that the academy, all these are academies, I don't support any of them, right? Like I said that, and I stand by it because it's political. Nicki Minaj does these things in the industry and then turns around and thinks that she's going to get some kind of advantage from the industry. You're attacking people in the industry. You're attacking the voters. These women have votes. Their record labels have votes. Their record executives have votes.
Right.
The artists they work with have votes they go on tour with. No one's going to give you a Grammy, boo, when you treat everybody nasty. Because the Grammy isn't given to you because you're a great artist. They want you to think it is, but you get a Grammy because you get the most votes.
Yeah.
No one's gonna vote for no nasty ass Nicki.
Yeah, and then it comes into the position where your antics outshine the art. And I hate that for her because she is a great artist. But now your antics, and I feel like that with other artists. I know I don't want to bring up those other people, but I feel like your behavior will forget that you can rap. We'll forget that you can sing. We're just waiting for you to be the next housewife at this point because that's what you're doing, you know?
Well, that goes to a great place because we do want to. I got to do like Whoopi. You know, Whoopi, she's so rude with it though, especially when poor. What's that girl? The one new girl,
Alyssa. I love Alyssa.
If Alyssa, Whoopi go to break every time Alyssa open her mouth. You know, sit here and let that Sunny Hostin get her words out, no matter what. But you know what? Sunny's evil ways are showing her face. It's starting to droop. That's why I do good every day to everybody because I don't have money for 40 units of Botox yet. Not yet. Zach Thomas, we're at a good place right now when you're talking about the artists and do their actions outshine their artistry. To go ahead and as a team, go ahead and go into our very first segment. It fits in so well. Ladies and gentlemen, today it is time for the Culture with Zach. And Zach has a little something special for you today with his For the Culture segment. Zach, tell us about it.
So yes, for this week's For the Culture segment, I came up with an activity for the guys, and this was all prompt after Usher brought up Chris Brown on the stage and was like, oh, let me give you your flowers. You are an icon. You are a legend. And so I wanted to come up for the guys a little game. Are they an icon or just a con? And so the first on the docket is, and I'm taking it, is Chris Brown. Chris Brown, he's known for his music. He's known for his artistry and the things he's done, but he's also known for being a bad guy. Is he an icon or just a con? What do you guys say?
And viewers watching, let us know your thoughts, and you can be the deciding vote. Like, chime in, icon or just a con?
He's an icon.
Iconic con.
We got
He's an icon.
We got one icon. We got
icon.
two icons.
Okay.
AJ?
Icon.
Okay.
We got three icons. Zachary Kirk says he's not an icon in my book. Like, I look at the actual categories given to me by the women of Stars of the Century, and the Stars of the Century have, they have categories here, people, and so he would be considered a legend. Okay, he's a legend. He's legendary, but an icon, he is not yet at the status of an icon. Like, according to the book of Stasha Sanchez, Miasi Mugle Mugubaba, I don't know all the rest, but it would be considered that, like Prince and Whitney are the icons. This young man is a legend. But again, I'll give him legendary status, but I can't give him icon. But you are correct, Deborah. He did indeed whoop up on women. Okay, that's what he
So
did.
can I speak to that real quick? I think that speaks to what we were just talking about in terms of political. And something I was going to add to that was the fact that it's opinion-based sport, as Drake has even said as well, when it comes to the Academy and people who've gotten these awards or not. It is because of Chris's human experiences that we have tried to take away the legendary and icon versus his performance and his ability to influence music. And I'll leave it at that.
But he's a man, so they ain't going to take away that.
We got more than one, people. We got more than one to judge in regards to being an icon or just a con. Zach also submitted for us the one and the only
Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is known for giving us some great shows on TV, but he's most recently known in the news for being a sexual assaulter or drugging the people. Is he a icon or just a con?
Another iconic con.
I think my point still stands. He's an icon, but again, people just keep on forgetting that we're human. I just have to add that, regardless of whatever level of success.
But do we forgive him for being human? Like,
I'm not saying that condones the behaviors, but I think that it should be stated and said when these scenarios or situations arise. It doesn't take away their influence or their impact. Before all this became a thing for him specifically, he was still considered America's father, and you got to think about so many people in our culture specifically who've grown up and watched these shows and have had such teachable moments despite his actions outside of that. So we can't, there should be some type of separation between the art and the person as well as their lived experiences.
We'll see what you think about the next person.
We are never going to finish. AJ said he's an icon. The chat seems to say icon. His work speaks for
I'm gonna say icon because this segment is called For the Culture. So because what the Cosby Show did and Different World did and Hillman did and HBCUs and all that stuff for the culture, the art is iconic. Boom, I'm done.
Okay, so we got iconic con, which is so unfair, just like a Pisces, indecisive. Then we get
indecisive.
Okay, so
what I said what I said.
Iconic con. He's a con, and that doesn't. I mean, con is not the opposite of icon.
Okay, but you give him an icon,
both,
and so then you can't give both, but you can't. I mean, you did. I can't make you not do it, but I mean, it's still not the answer. So I'm gonna give my answer because Zach, you get to go last in your game. I said that Bill Cosby is an icon, and I completely agree with you guys to separate the art from the artist in regards to the contributions to the culture of American society. Zach Thomas, what did you say about this one?
I mean, I agree. He is an icon. And I'm kind of on the fence with like Darius. He's an iconic con.
Well, first you're a Gemini.
Oh, shut up.
Well, the mutable signs are more likely to be like, they're a little bit more understanding and can kind of flow with the wind. It's just the way it works for mutables. And with that being said, we go from Bill Cosby over now to Nicki Minaj, who we just spoke about. So is Nicki Minaj an icon or a con?
What do the people say? We just spoke about her.
Icon.
You know what? I'll go first. As someone who has not been...
Oh, she's an icon.
icon.
Just an icon.
Grabbed anybody by the vagina. She hasn't given anyone quaaludes. She hasn't beat nobody in a car. She is an icon.
What about the accusations that she bullied a sexual assault survivor of her husband and her brother?
You said it was a what?
Well, I can't. I'm not gonna.
Accusation.
I'm not gonna be
okay.
So let me tell you one thing right here, right now. I'm not
Is that
trying
the case
to.
that she won
I'm
already?
not gonna get on Beyonce's internet and make an accusation, because I ain't got no money for them to seize at the Chase Bank up on me. Because my YouTube ain't drawing zero revenue. I just gained one follower, and that's Deborah Denard. So I don't have no Tasha K money to give in a lawsuit. I'm just saying that the allegation was she did those things. And it seems to be pretty convincing allegations that she was involved in those abusive victims.
Is that an ongoing case? Or is that a case she already won? I think it's a case that she
I don't think it's been settled.
For full disclosure, I don't think anyone should be excused from their actions and what they've done. But I don't think that we can take away their impact. And that's what has, to me, is what defines the icon. Nicki Minaj would be considered an icon despite her actions. Because again, whether it's Bill Cosby, Nicki Minaj, what have you, they're all human. And I think we get to this point of their fame is their celebrity, that is what should hold more privilege or power over their action, their choices. I don't function like that. I don't think like that, but I think that's what most people think. And I just disagree with it. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge all their impact on our culture.
Yeah, I agree. For the culture, she is an icon.
Okay, well, I think we have one.
And those charges were dropped back in January.
It wasn't decided like out of court with a settlement.
What I see is that she was dropped from the lawsuit alleging that she harassed and intimidated her husband.
They settled out of court. The lady took the money for the harassment.
It was voluntarily dismissed.
They settled out of court. So again, that interpret it how you will, people. My decision on this one is that Nicki Minaj is actually and genuinely, truly an icon. She is an iconic female rap artist, and I think that she is. Where again, I gave Chris Brown legendary status. I have to give Nicki Minaj iconic status, despite the fact I don't like her as a human being. With that being said, we would do this and debate this all night. But I think that we pretty much have the general.
I wanted that one more, Zach.
We ain't got time. Okay.
We do got no time for that one more.
Whoopi say ain't no time. Okay.
Oh, Whoopi.
It's no, it will be.
It was R. Kelly, but I'll leave it at that.
We will give the people the very final one, just for Zach Thomas, with his temper tantrum. The one and the only Robert Kelly. Is Robert Kelly, people? This one is probably the most conflicted of all. He's literally pissing away a legacy. Do you feel as though Robert Kelly is indeed an icon or just a con?
For the culture. Ooh.
We got to use the same criteria you've been doing all night.
Can I say something?
I'm gonna have to pass on that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is such a deeper conversation.
I tried to make it easy, but Zach insisted.
This is such a deeper conversation because, of course, I'm putting my DEI lens, and I'm also channeling their background, their upbringing, their experiences to reach the level of success that they have, and or what systems were in place to support them to get to that point. But I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is, again, for the culture, R. Kelly would be considered an icon despite, and not to excuse his actions. And I'm going to leave it at that.
Step in the Name of Love is iconic. The song
Trapped in the Closet is iconic.
And even from a musical standpoint, he is considered the staple for a lot of R&B male artists.
Definitely.
What is that? The I Believe I Can Fly? Didn't it?
I Believe I Can Fly.
I mean, and there we have it.
He's produced with Aaliyah. The list goes on and on. There's people across all the industry that have worked with R. Kelly across genres. So what culture, would we have without some of those influences? So I just think it's, again, not to excuse anyone's behaviors, they're human. But I do think we have to take into account for the culture and the impact of the industries that they're in. They are iconic.
Well, thank you all so much for
to move forward. I do want to.
That was good, Zach. No, I like that game. That was really good.
It was a good job, Zach. Good job. Keep the good games coming. And gentlemen, you can at any point can also bring a game in for your segment. Coming up shortly is going to have our Darius's deal of the day. And I think it's always exciting to talk about the winner circle and see what bits, because none of us knows like what's going to be this winner circle. But before we go into the winner circle, I got to give out this week's Tots and Prayers. It is time for Tots and Prayers. Tonight,
prayers or prayers?
Tots and Pairs. Tots and Pairs. I ain't got no prayers to get. That's the whole point, right? I don't have any thoughts for you. I don't think about you when you get this. You ain't worth my thinking. You ain't worth my time. And I certainly am not getting down on my knees and giving you any extra prayers other than when I say God bless the whole world. Because you can't say I ain't praying for you. You can't say I'm not doing that because my mama taught me to go on my knees and say God bless the whole world. And I say it every night, God bless the whole world. Because I want a better world for everybody, including a better world for the one and the only Kanye West. Kanye West has been on a tirade of ill behavior. Today, it was announced that he purchased and bought Parler, the racist talking app owned by the husband of Candace Owens, his new BFF and homegirl, his true sis in the game, Candace. And the reason why he's not getting my tots or my pairs, although you may want him to have it, is that his bank announced in September, JP Morgan, they were severing ties and they were not going to allow him to do business there anymore. This man has made statements that's continuously endangered the reputation of a number of businesses, and a lot of entities are now breaking ranks and moving away from him. Just last week, after he had the entire debacle around his White Lives Matter clothing line, he went on an anti-Semitic tirade that caused lots of people in the Jewish community ill will and angst. And I'm wondering at what point is this man going to be stopped having the opportunity to even have a platform at all? I am thankful that JP Morgan and Stanley Chase said you are no longer welcome here. And I hope that more people, including those of you out there, say the exact same thing to Kanye West, is that you're no longer welcome here. You get all the tots, you get all the pairs, but you don't get one thought or one prayer from me.
And the George Floyd comment that he made, and George Floyd's family is considering issuing a lawsuit against him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I know we talked about Kanye last week, but I came across an article that I thought was interesting. People with bipolar disorder are sick of others making that as the excuse for Kanye West, saying that, bipolar disorder, while the condition can get worse if you go unmedicated, it doesn't cause racism. So I think that was something that was very interesting to come across, especially as we often, automatically go to that. Yeah, Kanye West need to get some help. How offensive it could be to people who do identify with those, disorders and who are actually doing the work to maintain themselves. So I thought it was an interesting article.
Wow. Do we have a deal of the day?
Yes, we do. Oh my goodness.
Wait a minute before we cue it up. We got to introduce it. This is time now for there is a deal of the day.
Okay, so this one goes out to Dancer Boy Josh, who told me that my lips were ashy on live, and I've been insecure about my ashy lips ever since. But you know what? I don't have to worry about that because Rihanna got me covered, okay, with this Fenty Beauty Cream lip gloss.
Is it clear?
Baby.
Is it clear, or does it have a brown tint to it?
This one has a little pink tint to it. Especially for those of my people who like to indulge in things that Stacey Abrams is going to legalize when she becomes our governor.
She didn't say that.
That's what she said.
She's not going to legalize. She's going to decriminalize.
Okay, decriminalize, legalize, whatever. It's not going to, yeah. Anyway, that was either here nor there, and it doesn't apply to me. I'm just saying for those.
Brian Kemp said he's going to lock you up when he see it. He's going to.
So y'all go on down. Going down to Fenty Beauty and support Rihanna. She ain't giving us no new music. She's going to perform at this Super Bowl, but you can go and get her skincare products. It's amazing.
I don't smoke weed, so I don't need that. But let me tell you, I don't have that, Darius. This is what I got. You see that? This is what I use.
Oh, that's you got the big guns.
Yeah, and it's been used for a while. This right here be in my pocket and it be smushed up, but it works just fine.
How old were you when Carmex came out, Zach?
You know what? Carmex predates my existence. You know, I wasn't born until 1991. So
okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to know from a show of hands, men, how many of you are gonna buy some of the Fenty lip gloss? Darius, you did a great job selling it. Just because none of you are gonna buy it.
If y'all don't want to buy it, y'all can be out here with y'all ashy lips. That is fine. Buy me some.
I bought the clothing, but yeah, I don't need the products.
Have you tried
the clothing? What did she sell that you will put on?
She has a whole savage line for men.
Like underwear and lingerie.
She has lingerie, undergarments.
They have a store here in the DMV area.
I'm probably wearing. Yeah, I'm probably wearing Fenty. Savage right now. Come on for that feature. Come on.
I want to say this for those watching. You can now also subscribe to my Instagram. I went live on Friday with that opportunity. I'm running a very special, and maybe we could have you, AJ, model the Fenty that you're wearing on the Instagram live for subscribers only. That because I'm looking at how can I offer my subscribers greater value. So again, I think we will. And maybe we can. Pardon me, Darius.
It's gonna take more than $4.99 to get AJ up there in his Savage by Fenty.
No, I am only going to charge $249. I think it's going to be the price to start off. And ultimately, what we will be able to do is then divide that profits when we get to $4.99 among the 4 guys who do lives every week for every subscriber. So let's say we get 10 subscribers, that's $40 a guy. So it's a start and moving towards the monetization train. But again, all of that to say, I know that we have some good news. I love being able to end on a high note because we're getting ready to go into the after show. Tonight's after show is really going to be heavily focused on BravoCon and all the excitement and all the talk around BravoCon, and a few other things. But before we get into that, again, it's time to hit the winner's circle. This is, Vince came with it last week. Let's see if we're going to have it 2 weeks in a row. People, it's time for the winner's circle with Vince Action.
That's such a great picture. All right, guys. So the winner's circle belongs to, or I guess we can say this week's inductees. There we go. To the winner's circle is Mike and Kira Epps. Okay. As a FYI, HGTV has partnered with Mike and Kira Epps, Kira being his wife, and they have a new show coming out spring 2023 called Buying Up the Block. Okay, this show is an effort to raise awareness around gentrification and also taking back Black neighborhoods that are under the risk of becoming gentrified. In a recent tweet, Mike Epps said that a lot of people claim a hood, a city, or a block, but don't own it. Okay, so in effort to counter that, him and his wife partnered with HGTV. They're flipping houses, flipping apartments, empowering and enriching the community and the neighborhood, specifically in Indiana. And hopefully that'll filter out and encourage more people around the nation to do the same. So yeah, catch that spring 2023, buying back the block. That's a lot with Mike and Kira Epps. So shout out to that amazing Black couple.
So will they be like gifting these properties to people, or are they like going in, renovating people's homes?
I am not sure if they're gifting it. I'm not sure, okay. But I do know they are renovating, flipping it, and then
or making it affordable because okay.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted if one more
what was the big movie that Mike Epps was in?
He in a lot.
Yeah, what was your favorite Mike Epps?
Fridays.
Yeah,
the Friday movie.
Was he in one like about the boys or like the
most recently he got the show on Netflix, The Upshaws.
Oh, The Upshaws.
I heard it was good. I haven't watched it.
It is good.
It's pretty good.
Just like you guys are gonna have to watch the after show. Listen, look, I'm not crazy about Bravo, but I must say that BravoCon went a long way and probably reviving a lot of interest and love and passion for the Bravo brand. So I've been watching and seeing all the social media clips. It was a well-executed flow on social media. We're going to talk about that and some rumors that have been dispelled from BravoCon. Yes, Vince.
So really quickly, I know we didn't get the chance to go to the last topic about the vanishing snow crabs. I do just want.
That's on the after show.
Oh, that's on the after show. Okay, cool. All I'm gonna say, the people that don't watch the after show, climate change is real, and y'all need to do whatever y'all can to counter climate change. So if you got to recycle, go green, get a hybrid car. I don't know, turn off some lights, save electricity, whatever you got to do. Climate change is real. Okay.
Well, y'all climate change, y'all picking all them crabs up when y'all got the stimulus check.
Also, Zach, I just want to say that the BravoCon looked like a continuation of the January 6th insurrection.
It did not.
That is exactly what we will be talking about in the after show. So everyone, see you guys on the IG Live in a moment.